Hi, I'm Kathy Mills from Short Film Edits, and I'm here with Tristan Green for an interview today. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal. How are you?
Good, thank you. Could we start this with you telling us a little bit about you?
Sure, yeah. Well, my name is Tristan Green. I am 21 years old. I have been an actor and content creator for the past 4 or 5 years, I would say. And I just recently kind of started dabbling in the vertical space not too long ago. I also am a little bit of a musician. I play a little bit of guitar, but that's the extent of my musical abilities. Yeah, that's about it.
I always love to play an instrument, so at least you can do that.
Yeah, yeah. I got one thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Okay. So what inspired you to start acting?
Ooh, I think honestly, just watching movies. I think just watching movies and TV shows with my family. I lived in a big like movie night household. So I think just from a young age being like moved by stories like that and kind of just slowly over the years made me realize that, if I could have any job, it would be that. So why not, at least try it.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. How did you go about getting your first role?
I think my first ever role came from Backstage, the casting site. I think I just kind of did my own research of how can I make this happen, and I put together a probably very terrible Backstage profile, and then luckily was cast in a short film at an art school near me, and then kind of just have kept the momentum since then.
Hmm. So have you done theatre for long?
Um, I mean, I've been TV and film acting for 4 to 5 years, since COVID, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's good. All right. You started modeling at a very young age as well.
Mhm.
What drew you to that at such a young age?
Well, modeling, I was honestly kind of thrust into. I lived in Florida at the time, and they were doing like a showcase, and I was with my sister and my parents, and my sister signed up for it because she was interested in that. She watched Disney Channel and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
And then I think one of the scouts or agents or whatever you want to call it, they spotted me and they're like, "Hey, would you want to sign up and do the showcase?" And at first I was like, "Absolutely not. There's no way." But my sister convinced me, and then I did the showcase, and I just loved entertainment in general. It's kind of when it first sparked for me.
Yep, I hope your sister made it in as well.
She did not. She did that
Mm,
once, and for her it was the
yeah,
opposite. She realized she did not like it, but
yeah.
yeah,
Well, at least you learned that at a young age too. So that's
yeah,
good.
very true.
Yes, yes. Okay. You've done writing, producing, and acting on the final act. What inspired the story behind that project?
So that one I had a writing partner, and I knew I wanted to do something horror related just because I love horror movies. So I had a small part in writing that, just kind of inserting little ideas here and there. Obviously, like the classic slasher movies were a big inspiration, like the Scream movies and Friday the 13th, all those kind of classics.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Okay.
Mhm.
What was it like balancing acting and writing in that project?
For me, it was tough to be behind the camera. I kind of realized through that I just my strong suit is in front of the camera. All the other
Mm.
stuff I'll let other people handle because it's a bit of a headache. But luckily, I was able to write beforehand and then kind of separate myself from it and get in kind of the actor workflow before we started shooting.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Okay. Writing the script. Oh, sorry. What was more satisfying for you in that one? So writing the script or acting, but I'm going to guess it's acting.
Oh, that's tough because it always
Mm.
feels good to write something and get it out there. But I think acting still wins. It's
Yeah,
too fulfilling.
that's where your comfortable spot is. So,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah. Okay. All right. You also produced a project called Soft Launch. What did producing that teach you about the industry?
So that one, a friend of mine directed. And that one I kind of just produced on the money side of things.
Hmm.
But that did also teach me, as I've come to learn more about the industry, that that money wins. That's, the end goal of
Hmm.
why every project gets made. So, being able to balance the money business side of things with the creative side of things, I think is very important.
Gave you a little bit more of an understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You played a role of Wayne in The Caretaker. Could you tell us a little bit about that project?
Yeah, absolutely. So that shot in Vegas. That was like
Mhm.
an action movie. I was only in one scene. Flew me out for one scene. Um, it is the very beginning scene. I don't know how. I mean, it's out there, so I guess I could say, but I get my butt beat a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
kind of to make the good guy look, all tough and cool.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun. That was with Rampage Jackson, who was one of my favorite UFC fighters growing up. And going to Vegas was really cool. It was very dry and dusty there, but
Hmm.
besides that, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Bit like Australia, dry and
Yeah,
dusty.
yeah,
Yeah, that's where I am, so I get that.
yeah.
Okay. When you're writing a project, do you already picture yourself playing a character in that?
For for Yes and no. I think when I first started, I kind of naturally, almost selfishly started to do that just because acting is, my thing. So I was like, oh, I would love to play this character. Um, but the more that I talked to writers and learned from writers, you can't really do that. You got to separate yourself from it. Because then, the character you want to play, you start to make him look really cool and make everybody else look not as cool. So at first, yeah, but then I kind of realized like, no, I gotta write this as if I'm gonna write it and then never touch it again.
Yeah, that's fair. Have you ever wanted to write a script and put yourself in it, but like put yourself as like a bad guy, or do you
Yeah, I would love to
know?
do that. I want to get this year, get into writing again, whether it's short films or feature films, and kind of just also act in them just as an excuse to, be on set and be creating and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see myself playing a bad guy in the future.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What usually comes first for you when creating a story, the character or the plot?
Hmm. I'd definitely say the plot. Usually like a synopsis first, a general outline, and then kind of filling in the characters and gaps from that general kind of summary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. How do you usually prepare for a role?
Ooh, I kind of have a lot of different mismatched ways that I kind of just combine usually. There's like a mental side of it. There's a script side of it, making sure you know your lines and you're doing script analysis, and then there's like a physical side of it. Um, so I kind of break it down into those three categories and take it from that day by day. Obviously, reading the script is very important, doing scene study, highlighting your lines, all that kind of stuff. And then mentally, usually I make a playlist for each character to kind of get the essence of the character, I think is very important. And then physically, just making sure I'm in the gym, staying in shape so I can keep up with the sometimes 14, 15-hour days.
For 10 days in a row.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm. Yep. I think everybody's biggest strength in verticals is their stamina, just to be able to go that
Yeah,
long. Yeah,
yeah, agree.
absolutely. All right. What's the biggest thing you've learned from working in indie films?
Ooh, I think that the biggest takeaway I got is from both being in and watching indie films is just the best way to succeed in the industry nowadays is to create your own stuff.
Mhm.
That's the only surefire way in an industry that relies so much on luck and chance to kind of forcefully punch your way through of like, especially as an actor, because you have such steep competition. I mean, you're going against thousands of other people, probably millions. So the one way to set yourself apart and be like kind of screw you. This is what I'm going to do is to create your own stuff and make it really good, to kind of force
Mm.
eyeballs.
Yeah, of course. What do you think the biggest difference is between those low budget films to bigger productions?
Um, I think, I mean, obviously there's a difference in quality just with the camera equipment and the resources and the amount of crew that you have. But I think that there are plenty of, I mean, we've seen it time and time again of super low budget movies that blow up and do super, super well. So I think the story is the most important thing. Um, I think the real difference is usually in the script. The lower budgets usually can't hire as good of a writer, so then the script isn't as good, and then straight from the jump, it is kind of lacking the quality that sometimes the other bigger productions kind of have from the beginning.
Yeah, so you hope a really, really good writer writes the story and then goes in to look for other ways to make it rather than the other way around.
Right, right. Like story first, and then, can piece together everything else from there.
Yeah, that's understandable. Okay. What has surprised you most about working in the film industry in general?
Um, well, that's a great question. It might take me a few seconds to think. I think one, the how non-glamorous it actually is, like on the
Mm,
behind the scenes, especially because a lot of the projects I've been in, they require like intimacy and there are times where sparks can fly and it's great and it's amazing, and then there are other times where it's very awkward and you got 50 people watching you, and that goes for really any scene. You see it on screen and you don't even think about the fact that it's dead quiet. There's 60 people watching you. You're doing it 12 times over and over again. So I think that really surprised me of just like wow, this is what it's really like. It's very almost mechanical in some sense. Um,
mm.
and then there are obviously times where you get to have the freedom to be the opposite of mechanical, whatever word that is.
Free. Yeah, just free. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get that. I see a lot of people, see those scenes and they're like, oh my God, that's so hot, blah, blah, blah. But to you guys, it's literally as intimate as a handshake because you've got so
right,
many other people around you, like you just said. It's not as glamorous as what we
right.
see. But I guess that's the point.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's the
yeah.
movie magic.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a genre you haven't done yet that you would really love to explore?
Ooh. I would love to do. I have two answers. I would love to do more comedy,
Hmm.
just because I do a lot of that on a day-to-day basis with content creation and stuff. And that would just be really fun to be a part of, I think. And also pretty challenging because it's hard to be
Yeah.
funny when you're trying to be. And then would love to do like sci-fi. That would be really fun.
That is my favorite genre.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
I say this all the time. I really want a sci-fi vertical.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Someone needs to get on that. That's a great idea.
Yes, I love Stargate type stuff.
Mhm.
I want
Yeah.
Stargate. I know a lot of people want like Star Wars and I don't know. It could just be like the hook on that is really good. And you could
Mhm.
definitely leave the cliffhanger for every episode that you need. So
Yeah. No, it's
yeah,
a great idea.
yeah, really want it.
Mhm.
Okay. What's your favorite memory from being on set?
Ooh, that's hard because I feel like every set that I'm on, I make such great memories. There there's a handful. I think the first like big SAG production that I worked on. Once I wrapped, there was an actor who I really, really looked up to who kind of took me to the side and gave me a lot of words of encouragement and advice and complimented my performance and gave me advice on, how to go further in the industry. And so that I'll always remember. Um, and then I think just encompassing as a whole, just the people that I've met on each set. There's so many people who I'm still like best friends with, and I worked with them years ago. You really kind of find your troop on film sets because you're so like-minded and you're there for 12 hours a day playing
Hmm.
pretend. You get close fast.
Yeah, you get to know them pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you follow any specific acting techniques or methods?
Um, Not particularly, no. I never went to like a training. I never really have been in class, which I want to start doing now just because it is important. But I kind of just follow my instincts usually. Just do whatever I need to do to be as present and natural in the moment as I possibly can.
Yeah, of course. All right. How do you make similar roles feel unique?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think my my first instinct is to say with like the backstory that
Mhm.
you come up with for your character. Because I just recently I play a lot of bad guys who are very similar. And so I think just finding the internal world that makes them different and makes each of them tick a little differently, and within the world, kind of making sense of why they are the way they are. Like why are they such a douchebag? Um, that kind of for me makes them different enough. And then also I think working with like the director and the writer just to kind of see their vision. Because obviously my instinct is if I play two bad guys, kind of play them similarly, but the writer director could have a completely different idea than kind of what I was thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I think the people you work with will make it different as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you prefer playing lead or kind of background roles?
Um, definitely lead. It's
Mm,
just you can do so much more. And I always want to act. I just want to always be on set. So the more days I get to work and the more my character's name is in the script, the happier
mm.
I am. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I think it's the way the lead can tell the story more. They can like, you know, I don't know the word for it, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
just
they're integral to the story. Yeah.
yes, yes, absolutely. Okay. Have you ever had a scene that was unexpectedly difficult to film?
Um, yeah. There's two that come to mind. Not too long ago, I did like an emotional scene where I had to cry and reach like a very sad state. And usually I can reach that pretty easily, but this time I was just super aware of the cameras because they were really close and kind of just was really struggling to find it. So I kind of just had to take a break and just be, hey, can I get 5 minutes? And I sat with my headphones in with music and kind of just really focused and kind of got back into it. But it kind of just goes to show how like difficult the job can be sometimes of having to pull from these deep emotions with all the things going on, especially if you're, crying and then someone calls hold and then you have to just
Mhm.
wait for them to continue and then cry again. So it can be difficult unexpectedly.
Yeah, I think it's beneficial for actors if they let you play out the scene and
Yeah,
then rewind rather than stopping you halfway through.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's time, but it'll just keep you guys more in the moment than
Yeah, they'll at least maybe be able to get something, at the latter half if they just keep going.
like, exactly. Sorry, my cat's trying to climb up the window. Oh, sorry about that. All right. So which project has challenged you the most, and how did you grow from that experience?
I think each project is very challenging in its own way. Um, the one that challenged me the most was probably the most recent one I did. It was a vertical, but it was shot horizontally. But there was on every layer, it was difficult. I had like an accent that I had to do that I've never done before. There was the entire range of emotions within the script: crying, anger, seductiveness, charm, intimidation, all of the above. And then there was a lot of stunt work as well that I kind of just every day had to be on my A game, especially with the long shoot dates to keep the energy and just kind of get to each point that I wanted to in each scene.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right. Is there certain roles you feel less confident doing?
Yes.
Mm.
Any role that I take on that I'm always a little nervous about, just because I really want to do a good job and I don't want to suck. Um, I think the roles that make me super nervous are probably, I guess, just stuff that I've never done before, like accent stuff. Like if I had to do a role with like a French accent, I'd be like, uh-oh, I've never practiced a French accent. I got to do a lot of work. So I think in any role that comes my way that is something that I never have practiced before is gonna scare me a little bit, but also excite me at the same time.
Yeah, of course. Did you have much time to learn that accent before you did the last one?
I think I had 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So I took every day that I could get, and when it comes out, I guess I'll find out if the accent was good or not by what people say.
Yeah. What was your process in learning that accent?
Well, luckily for me, my character was kind of based off another character, loosely. It was based off Connor Story in Heated Rivalry, his Russian
Mhm.
accent. So kind of my character prep was just watching the show and almost borderline repeating things he said to it's like, oh,
Mhm.
does this sound right? Listening to a lot of like Russian speakers, some Russian music. And I think with any accent, the most important thing is just like finding the structure to it, like which word sounds different or which consonant or vowel is supposed to sound different, and then kind of
Mhm.
fitting that within the script.
Yeah. So since you've seen it, you can appreciate how magical that show is.
Yes,
Mm.
no, it's phenomenal.
I, I love that
It,
show. I love it.
it's
I even bought
phenomenal.
the books.
Yeah, I did too, actually. It's somewhere around here.
Have you read them yet?
I read, preparing for the role, I read half of the first one, but then
Okay.
we started shooting, so I still need to finish it.
I'm a bit scared going into reading the books because I don't want like I get funny if something's different. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like,
It's
oh,
I think the shows are better, or the show is better, but some people have mixed opinions, I guess.
I put trust in Jacob Tierney. He knows what he's doing. So
hmm
yeah, I,
Absolutely.
yes. All right. How do you navigate playing characters when you don't agree with their motives?
There we go. I'm glad you re-asked because I completely forgot the question. So again, like I said, a lot of actors say that you have to empathize with the character, and I disagree because the characters I play can be pretty horrible, and I just don't want to be like, oh, that's okay. But I do at least try to understand them, understand where they're coming from, why they are like that, so I can so I can play it from a place of truth at least, but
Mm.
still keep myself separate from it. Because at the end of the day, I'm acting. I'm not the type of actor to where I feel like I have to become the character. I just think I have to be able to slip in and out.
Of course, yes. I
Yeah.
I think also with a lot of like actors I've spoken to, they say instead of justifying what the actor's doing, what the character's doing, a lot of bad guys don't think they're doing the wrong thing when they're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in their
That's
mind,
it.
they're not doing anything wrong. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
hard to, yeah,
hmm
yeah. Okay. What's more challenging for you, delivering subtle emotion in a quiet scene or sustaining high energy during action or dramatic scenes?
Definitely the subtle emotion. Definitely. I think the high emotion to me, um, it can be pretty physically draining, but it's easy to tap into. Um, whereas the subtle stuff is the opposite. It on the surface is pretty easy, but it's really hard to like get to a place of like because sometimes you feel like, am I even acting? Like, am I doing enough?
Mm.
But I think that really comes from just like being very present and in the essence and internal world of the character, and you kind of don't have to do much once you're in that. You can just trust the excuse me the words.
Yes, and yeah. All right. How do you stay authentic and present on set with all the distractions like camera crew and time pressure?
Hmm. A lot of it for me is breathing, breath work,
Hmm.
really taking the moment to close my eyes, breathe, get into the at least a calm state of mind. Um, a lot of it is dependent on the scene partner as well. If they're acing the scene or being present in the scene, it kind of helps me stay in it as well. So I think really just focus and just really keeping it in here and trying to tune all everything you can out.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. All right. What is your funniest moment on set?
I have quite a couple. Um, I think there's so many, so I'm just gonna go with the first one that I can think of. There was a vertical I did, or the very first scene. It was like a romantic, like painting scene, where we were like painting each other's noses and it's supposed to be all cute. And me being an idiot, I started like open mouth laughing because I was actually having a good time. I thought it was hilarious. And then she
Mhm.
accidentally painted like the inside of my mouth, so like
Oh.
my teeth were red and I didn't really know, so I just kind of kept going and like laughing with red paint. And then the director called cut, and I was like, "So how was that?" And he was like, "You should probably go clean up." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And then I looked in the mirror, and I just looked like Ronald McDonald, like just red makeup smeared all over.
Oh gosh. Is that one out yet?
Yeah, that one's Camp Evergreen. It's on
Okay.
it's on Viglu, I think. So
Okay. I'll have to check that out. And then I can
yeah,
picture that moment even more now.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Is there a character you've played that you still think about? And if so, what made that role stick with you?
I think yeah, I played a character by the name of Clay in The Bard, which is yet to be released. I think it releases this year. And that was a big bad guy role. Um, and I was working with a lot of bigger actors who I'd seen before, and it was just very, very scary. And I just think the overall process of getting into that character, and just the feeling of almost like being like a little kid and seeing all the expensive set equipment. I kind of think about that and just being that character on set a lot. Usually just in awe of the stuff that I was seeing.
Yeah. Have you got to work with a lot of people that you admire?
Y- Yes, not that one was the first one where I worked with people who I admired beforehand and knew of
Mhm.
beforehand. But I think every set that I'm on, I find new people that I admire, both on crew and castmates. They're just very good at
Mm.
what they do and usually phenomenal people that I admire every time, no matter what set I'm on. There's some people where I'm just like, wow, you're great.
Hmm. Absolutely. Even people you don't expect, like this, people that aren't huge in the industry yet can blow your mind
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there somebody that you would really love to work with if you could?
Is a big dream. My favorite actor of all time is Andrew Garfield.
Hmm.
Uh, so if I ever got the chance to work with him, I'd probably do a terrible job because I'd be so nervous and just like
Hmm.
starstruck. But that would be the one that I would love to work with.
Yeah. Is there a specific role or like storyline you'd love to do?
Um, no, honestly, I'd take what I can get. Honestly, I'd
Yeah.
if I ever got the chance and I'm hear his name's in the movie, whatever role it is, I'll be like, yep, sure, why not?
Yeah. I think mine would have to be Morgan Freeman.
Oh, it's a good one.
I love Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Um, what does a good day on set look like for you?
Um, I think a good day on set for me starts with the call time. Hopefully
Mhm.
not at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Like a nice 8 to 11 a.m. is usually going to be a good day. Um, and then I just going and being every usually in the beginning to middle of the shoot, or it kind of just fluctuates. Just there are certain segments of a shoot where everyone's just in a good mood. Everyone's
Mhm.
aware of like, hey, we're all getting paid to create cool stuff and everything's light. So I love the days like that. Obviously, there are days where the lunch is great. They have like pasta
Mhm.
and really good stuff. I'm kind of just going through like my perfect set day.
Yep.
Um, and then hopefully not too late of a call time and all the scenes. I feel like I got what I wanted out of it. I don't feel like there's anything left in the tank. And then afterwards, hanging out with some of the castmates or crew, and to me, that's a great day.
Yep. Yep. Love that. All right. If you could go back and relive a single day in your career, which day would you pick?
Hmm. Either either I don't want to only talk about that one set, but the big movie that I did, I would love to go back and just relive all of that, the trailer and the catering, and that would be awesome. And maybe give it a one more shot and do some more improv. I think, not to give too vague of an answer, I think I would like to relive almost every day on set just because there's always still so much that I could have done as far as like improving stuff or maybe making the scene just like 1% better or having like a new idea. Because there are there's it's a very rare occasion where every scene in a shoot I'm like, okay, that went the best it could have gone. Usually I'm always like, I wish I could do that just one more time.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that a bit, but I'm also a big believer in the fact like it's great to try and improve on your work, but then you
Mhm.
may lose something that was originally there that
Right.
made the
Yeah.
scene great.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of like a flip of a
It's
coin as to what.
balance. Yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah.
balance. Yeah.
Hmm.
But I heard it's really good to go back and have an old audition tape and then redo that one again and see
Yes.
the change.
I need to try that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm sure my old ones are probably horrendous.
And then you could just do it again and go, wow, okay, this is how far I've
Yeah.
come. This is
Made
the
up
things
for
I've
it.
changed. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yes. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to have this interview with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a lot of fun.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Well, I will talk to you again very soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.